Great morning, sales teams, and welcome to YOSM. My name is Emma Monroe. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend and looking forward to an even better sales week. I would like to introduce you now to Anoop Antel, our sales manager for Australia. Take it away, Anoop.
Thanks, Emma, and welcome to another exciting session of YOSM. Again, really excited to be online and talking to you about what we're going to be talking about today. So we're just going to quickly go through a review from last week, which we talked about prospecting. Now, something we mentioned, and if you would have heard even Shane Ridley speak on the Thursday session on prospecting, was what he said about the sales call is definitely important, is that make sure you've got to make time for prospecting. It's basically what fills your funnel, fills the pipeline, and gets you rolling. So, there's not much more to say, but, take your review from last week, take the notes on, and see where you're going with it. I mean, reality is if you're not making up to 8 to 10 ways to prospect in a day, and that doesn't mean making a cold call. It could actually just mean revisiting an old client that you haven't spoken to in a while, picking up the phone, driving and going to see them and seeing how they're going. You might find that they've either moved on to somebody new, or they go, hold on, it's so great you walked in today because I could place a reorder. It also could be just looking at ways on how you can get new business. And there's a ton of ways to look at that as well. So prospecting is a vitally important part of the sales process because it kicks us off. So we're going to move on to today. If we go over to the next slide. And let's just have a look at, again, the whole sales process in total. And remember, there is so much content within this that don't just think that we're going to do about 7 weeks and hit closing and then we're done. Oh, no, we're just going to start. I mean, this is just kicking on now. And my promise to everyone online who's listening is to make sure that you guys get the best quality content that you can possibly deliver. And that means me going out and researching. So, you know what? Say it before and I'll say it again. I want to hear from you guys. I really want to hear what you've got to say. I want to hear your challenges and what's going on. So the second phase in the sales process is we're going to talk about the opening, or what we call the initial contact. So if we go through the next page. So before we start that, I want to know your score. I want to make sure that we've revisited the score as in your own personal score. I cannot reiterate this again, and the 2 speakers we've had on so far both said important to keep scorecards, important to see where you're going. If you're not measuring how many people you're talking to today, how many people are walking through your store, how many people are converting, what your average sale is, what your retention rate is, which means how many times do they purchase, or if you've got a database of 100 people, how many people are actually reordering within the 100 people. So you may go, I've got 100 people on my database, but I don't know how many people order from me. We'll start looking at that. You've got 100 people, you've got 5 people that are reordering from you. Well, hey, you know what? If you just move that another 10% up, or even 20% up, there's another 2 to 3 people that will order from you. Do you think you're going to increase your sales by literally doing no marketing, no cold calling? Of course you are. See, we don't realize how powerful the tools we have within us until we start to use them. So my recommendation is get out, start using them. Make sure you're using every single tool we give you. One thing I can promise you, do what I say, because I do it as well, and you will achieve the sales you want to achieve. Okay? So let's go to the next slide. This week we're going to look at opening or initial contact. Okay? So now the opening this is vitally important. A lot of people screw this up. Okay, it's the second phase of the sales process. The first is the prospecting, is actually the initial meeting of trying to get into this stage at all. A lot of people will screw this up because they go in, they're either too nervous or they don't know what they're doing. They have no confidence in themselves and they totally screw it up from the moment. How many times I've seen people come and see me and just go on about crap. Look, I don't even care what you've got to say. Tell me what you're going to sell and how is it going to benefit me. And this is where people screw this up. So I'm going to give you some tools right now, but first of all, we're going to start backwards. So if we go to the next slide, you know what I mean. 5 reasons why people fail the sale by not opening correctly. Now have a look at this image, okay? It's not a porn shot. It's actually, in their books, right? 20% off children's books. Total fail. Do you think this is a great opening? Remember, your opening can be also not something you actually open your mouth with. It's physically what you're showing them. So for anyone in retail, make sure your signage is done correctly and you're following through. Because you know what? This is going to fail straight away. Now, this isn't even reason one yet. This is only a visual that I picked up the other day, and I actually started laughing my head off. And how many times do we see this? Where people just didn't take the time just to get it right. Okay? Take the second aside before you open your mouth to think, what am I about to say? Is it going to be powerful enough to connect with somebody? All right, so we'll go to the next slide. We're going to start with 5 reasons why people fail. Okay, 1, because the client doesn't trust you. Okay, here's a cold-hearted fact that everyone needs to really get. Your client, when you're first meeting them, they don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't give a shit about you. That's it. It's not personal. They just don't know you. Now, if you think you're taking that personally, think again. Think about this. The reality is you don't give a shit about anyone else when you don't know them either. All right? Now, I'm not having a personal go at anyone, but we're all the same. We are all the same in that respect. It's not because we don't like people, it's we don't know them. And we don't know them, we don't trust them. We go, you know what? I don't know you, I don't like you at the moment, you've got to prove to like me. And I've got to prove to make sure that I like you. So the trust is a major thing. A lot of people fail here because they don't build the trust. The first 30 seconds, you can build that trust really, really fast. Okay? And I'm going to show you different ways when I go past the reasons why they won't buy from you because of the way you open. Now, they may listen right through to your presentation. They may go all the way to the end and then go, you know what, this isn't for me, or let me think about it and I'll call you back. You didn't even do the number 1 thing right. And remember, if you don't do the number 1 thing right, are they going to go ahead with you? Are you going to go ahead and actually invest in a conversation, invest in a relationship with somebody when they didn't open right for you? Well, then how do we not, if we don't open right for them, what does that mean? The second reason, so we'll go to the next slide, is you did not set the outcome of the meeting up. So what this means is people come in and they actually say, you know, I'm here to sell this, this is how I think it's going to benefit you. And they just go on and on and on. And the person goes, well, you know what, I'm A, probably not the right person to talk to. Or B, what you're saying to me is great, but, you know, that's not what we need. So you didn't set the meeting up right. You didn't tell them what the processes you're going to do and go through. You want, you know, if somebody's trying to sell to me, I want to know how long I'm going to be in that meeting for. That doesn't mean I'm not interested. I'm just busy. Okay? So you've got to gauge that person and say, look, we're only going to take a few minutes of your time. I just want to go through a couple of quick processes and start off with a couple of questions. Is that okay with you?